In the novel Lone Survivor, author Marcus Luttrell uses the first 80 pages to describe the training and selection process he and his fellow teammates endured to earn the title U.S. Navy SEAL. This clip depicts what they went through to earn that title.
Ring the bell 3 times, put your helmet on the ground, you're done.
You don't make it, you do it again!
Have you been tested this hard ever in your life?
Never.
Winning here is a conscious decision. Make up your mind whether you want to pass or choose to fail.
All right, now, gentlemen, I'm gonna introduce y'all to something called not being able to breathe.
Andrew, come back! Come back to the light. Take all this shaking and all this cold, harness it, turn it into aggression.
You just prove to your bodies, through your mind, that you can push yourself further than you thought possible.
Go get wet! Run!
I met my limit, so that's it.
You sure you want to be here?
Yes, I do.
Are you absolutely sure?
I'm positive.
Whatever you have to do, just find an excuse to win. Keep going.
It pays to be a winner!
After describing his training and going to sniper school, Luttrell moves on to the bulk of the novel, Operation Red Wings. Operation Red Wings, named after the hockey team, was a mission to locate and capture or kill Ahmed Shah. Ahmed Shah was a known Taliban supporter on the most wanted list. Shah had been becoming a large threat in the Middle East, and just a week prior to their mission, he had killed 20 U.S. Marines. 20. This would not be an easy task to find him, because the only photos recovered are a few grainy photos. Team leader Navy Lieutenant Michael Murphy, Petty Officer 2nd Class Danny Dietz, Petty Officer 2nd Class Matt Axelson, and Navy Hospital Corpsman 2nd Class Marcus Luttrell made up the 4-man team airdropped into the Peck district of Afghanistan's Kunar province. They made their way along Satalo Sar Mountain. By dawn, they located Shah and his men in a nearby village. The team then dug into the mountainside and solidified their position. Unfortunately, this was when the unexpected happened that ultimately leads to 3 out of the 4 men losing their lives. In the early morning, 3 goat herders stumbled upon their position, guiding over 100 goats through the mountain. The team, not being able to contact their base commander, are left with only 2 choices. 1, they could kill them, or 2, they could take the chance and release them. At first, the team puts the decision to a vote, but in the end, team leader Michael Murphy decides to cut them loose. The team decided to abort the mission and retreat to a position where they could radio in for evac, but as they feared, the goat herders had returned to the Taliban and informed them of their position, and within 2 hours, the enemy had already caught up to them. On the surrounding hills, more than 50 heavily armed Taliban soldiers ready to ambush the team. From the very beginning of their assault, the team received no reprieve as the highly outnumbering force rained continuous bullets and RPG blasts upon them. The SEAL team had to continuously lay down cover fire, retreat, and defend their flanks. They were holding their own bravely, but not without injury. All 4 SEALs had suffered numerous bullet wounds within the first hour of fighting. As the fighting continued and intensified, the team got pushed back against the cliff with nowhere else to go. They were forced to leap off the cliff and drop 30 feet, and then tumble down the mountain, bouncing off rocks and trees. The injured and battered SEALs continued to fight bravely, but after enduring several hours of intense combat, the team was starting to falter. Petty Officer Second Class Danny Dietz was the first of the team to be killed, already having suffered 4 bullet wounds, getting part of his hand blown off, and several broken bones. The killing blow came when he was struck in the neck twice and then in his face. As Marcus writes, "He died in my arms. I don't know how quickly hearts break, but that nearly broke mine." Team leader, Navy Lieutenant Michael Murphy, was the next to perish in battle. Pinned down, he knew their only way out was to radio in for help, but to get a signal, he would have to leave himself completely exposed. Badly injured and bleeding, he walked out from the corner, sat on a rock, and dialed for their HQ. He took a bullet straight into his back, but he continued to make the call. Murphy finished the call and began firing again. He was struck several more times until he began calling out, "Help me, Marcus. Please help me." But there was nothing Marcus could do. He was pinned down 20 yards away. In the book, Marcus writes, "It was the most bone-chilling and heart-wrenching screams I have ever heard. I had to drop my gun and cover my ears. I'm a coward. I'm a Navy SEAL. Navy SEALs never drop their weapons in a gunfight. I was a coward." There were a few more gunshots, and then there was silence. Petty Officer Second Class Matt Axelson was the last of the 3 to die. He and Marcus fought with desperation as they were pushed back down the mountain. They took cover behind a pile of boulders and said their final goodbyes. They both believed that they would not make it much longer. Just then, 2 RPG blasts shook the earth and blew them in opposite directions. In the book Lone Survivor, Marcus Luttrell writes, "The last thing I ever saw of my best friend Matt was his body flying through the air." At the same time, Marcus was blown back from cover down the mountain. After suffering many blows, he landed at the bottom, badly injured, but away from pursuing forces. He hid himself as best he could and gave in to exhaustion and fell asleep. Marcus was surprised to find himself alive the next morning as he went searching for water. He limped and hobbled to the side of a pool and dove in, drinking as much water as he possibly could. As he surfaced, he came face to face with an Afghani villager. The man, Mohammed Gulab, was the leader of a nearby village that did not support the Taliban. Mohammed was following the practices of Pashtun Wali, which is an Afghani tradition to give asylum to a person to protect them from their enemies. According to Pashtun Wali, the entire village was responsible for Marcus's survival and safety. Gulab saved Marcus's life even at the risk of his village coming under attack. He risked his children, his wife, and the wives and children in the entire village. Marcus owes his life to Gulab and the brave villagers who sheltered him. He would never have made it out of Afghanistan if it were not for Gulab. Being the only survivor that day, Marcus Luttrell believes that it is his responsibility and his duty to tell the story of Operation Red Wings and preserve the memories of his fallen comrades and his lost brothers.
We are born one fine day, children of God, on our way. Mama smiles, Daddy cries. Miracle before their eyes. They protect us till we're of age, and through it all, love remains. Boy moves on, takes a bride. She stands faithful by his side. Tears and sweat, they build a home and raise a family of their own. They share joy, and they share pain. And through it all, love remains. Kingdoms come and go, but they don't last. Before you know, the future is the past. In spite of what's been lost or what's been gained, we are living proof that love remains. I don't know, baby, what I'd do on this earth without you. We all live and we all die, but the end is not goodbye. The sun comes up and seasons change. Through it all, love remains. An eternal burning flame. Hope lives on.